Good evening, good morning, wherever you may be. Hello, I'm Cassandra Joan Butler, Agent 56 with the CIA, Cosmic Intelligence Agency. I'm happy to be with you on Wednesdays because, well, I just am, because I like to share the astrological nuances of the week and also offer some spiritual reflections, some spiritual messages as well. So, my friends, we are completely saturated with the full moon lunar eclipse ready to pop on the 5th in the evening, afternoon. That's Eastern Daylight Time, around 5:34 on Friday. So please, the question of the day, question of the moment is, how are you doing? Is anyone feeling a sense of anticipation, with or without cause? I had kind of I would say a tough day. See, I gauge my days and how much I can accomplish. And I was really sluggish and slow and a little, not really feeling sad, not feeling mad, just feeling a little off. And I'm going to remind myself that astrology works because I think it's affecting me, the upcoming lunar eclipse. Everything's good in my life, right? I mean, it really is. I had one of those checkups today with the MDs, and I checked that box with the checkup, and I should be doing cartwheels and being all happy and all, but there's just something afoot. So anyway, I want to share that with you. And if you are feeling that sense of anticipation, I want to talk about how I believe how I work with the astrology. Astrology is a mirror of the universe, right? As above, so below. So maybe nothing is going to happen when I describe this particular eclipse coming, but consciousness precludes everything that happens in the material world, right? So everything in your sphere of life started somewhere in someone's mind. This computer, these glasses, everything started as consciousness before it was materialized. So I think astrology is a great tool. I call it a diagnostic tool for feelings and emotions and sometimes the collective consciousness or unconsciousness, be it as it may. So with these eclipses, they really are portals of change because they work on the collective. And this particular eclipse is the last time we're going to see an eclipse in Scorpio for another 18 years. And keep in mind, the narrative on this planet, the present narrative that we're experiencing, began on January 19th, 22. That's when we had the nodal shift. We had some eclipses in the previous year in 21, but this is only, these eclipses in Taurus and Scorpio only last for about a year and a half, and then there's overlap with the next eclipse cycle. So what I'm saying is the featured themes on the planet have been Scorpio and Taurus since January 19th, which I always giggled and said, all right, friends, everyone would always ask me, when is this CV over? When is this crisis of the virus going to be over? January 19th of 22. And of course, yeah, there's viruses probably right now floating in my house, I'm sure, of some stripe. But the consciousness was more concerned on that day. That was the first day of the news cycle that COVID wasn't number one in the news. Guess what was? The pending possibility of a Russian invasion of the Ukraine. That was the number one story back then. Of course, that didn't take place until late February of 22. And the other one was that the planes were going to fall out of the sky because of the rollout of 5G. Don't worry if you didn't remember that story, because it was one and done. It happened on the day of the eclipse of 22, January 19th. I'm sorry, I beg your pardon, the nodal shift. So anyway, we've been living under this Taurus-Scorpio polarity in the past year and a half. And at the underbelly of Scorpio, of course, is death and fear. So I thought, we might be going through some death fear issues with this eclipse. And indeed, the chart shows that. So I'm going to share with you the chart. Hello, everyone. Hi, Leslie. Yes, yes, it's there. It's going to be shown up in the lower part of the hemisphere. Janet, hectic, not hexed. Okay. Hi, Donna, Dawn, everybody. Big hugs. John, Debbie, Joan, Leslie, Jerry, David. Hello, friends. Thank you for sharing, dear Rose. Hi, Lynn. Hi, Louise. Hello, Miss Sons. Yes, yes. Hi, Cindy, Rose, Katie, Shannon. You've been feeling horrible. Okay, understood. There's a lot of that energy in the room. Susan, hello, hello. Hi, Lee. Good evening. Hi, Sherry H. Well, let's take a look at the eclipse. All right, shall we? And what you want to do, whoops, I'm getting ahead of myself. Oh, I gave it away. Lunar eclipse, May 5th, 2023, the day before the great King of England gets crowned. Can you time it any more profoundly? Keeping in mind, King Charles is a Scorpio sun and Taurus moon. So I'm sure he had something to say because all eyes will be on England in the next weekend. Well, in any case, here's our eclipse, friends. And let's just give you a little bird's eye thoughts about it. Sabian symbol of the eclipse is, I call it the pentagram degree. Pentagon? No, pentagram. Maybe, well, the pentagon is shaped like a 5-pointed star. I'm sure there's something to that esoterically. Well, in any case, the symbol is children playing around 5 mounds of sand. So we have a hand with 5 fingers, our toes, 5 fingers. You can get really deep into analyzing this. What are we playing around in our life? How are we letting that creativity shine? And it's about children, our innocence, perhaps naivete, and it's the idea of playing around mounds of sand. Sand disappears. Sand is not a rock. Sand is not very sturdy. We're playing with playing with fire, perhaps? I don't know. Anyway, the particular lunar eclipse is going to be visible from Eastern Europe, Africa, Asia, Australia, New Zealand, Antarctica, and Indonesia. It's not a total eclipse. The moon won't totally disappear. What is the big news of this eclipse? Well, it's next to a kind of a scary fixed star. I hope I don't massacre its name here. Zubeninubi. It's at 15 degrees of Scorpio, which is the degree off by a few minutes, a degree itself, of the actual degree of the eclipse. So, friends, if you are an astrologer, I'm sure you already looked at this, but you want to look where 15, 14 degrees of Scorpio falls in your chart. And of course, I'll do the mini Reader's Digest version of how that might be affecting all of us. So this fixed star is known as the claw of the scorpion. Claw of the scorpion, kind of interesting. So it's indicates violence and tragedy, and it's translated to being insufficient price. Nothing's worth the price of whatever this tragedy or violence is about. Certainly in the United States, we've seen a lot of senseless tragedies. In fact, even one today. In Atlanta, a gunman went in and shot people with one person dead. I presume, I don't know. I haven't kept up on that story. I think he's been caught like an hour ago. All right. So Mars, the ruler of Scorpio, is conjunct Black Moon Lilith, taking action regarding darkness and fringe action. And of course, the eclipse is coming up. It's not exactly conjunct Uranus, which is an unexpected situation. But here's something to look at. Remember, I use a lot of the extra asteroids and so forth because I'm so interested in psyche and other aspects that I have found to be very prevalent during psychic intuition development tools. And one of them, of course, is Black Moon Lilith. The other one is literally Psyche. So Psyche is at the base of a yod. It's called the finger of God. And so what that might be communicating, if it's very strong in your own chart, is not wanting to trust your intuition, knowing something's afoot, something's afloat, but not really wanting to trust it. because a yod are two planets forming a 150-degree angle, and then there's at the base of it. And so the base of this yod is Psyche. And Psyche, she's always there. It's always there. Our bipolar brains, bipedal action, we have a left and right brain. So trust your right brain, right? Even when you don't want to, you want to activate at this full moon eclipse. Activate your intuition, please. It's a very good thing to do with this particular event. And by the way, friends, you know the rules about eclipses. They have a Uranian feel to them. Things often happen out of the woods, out of the blue, in your own life, especially where we find this Scorpio energy. The other thing about this particular yod involving our friends of Venus and Chiron, I was looking at that in some ways too. Venus represents everything we love, right? The people and also our values, and sometimes that translates into money. As a matter of fact, of course, the Fed brought up the interest rates one more time today. That was expected, but it's also throwing us into this conundrum of insecurity about the things we love, which includes money to help the people we love. And so that yod is also making us feel like we're dancing without being grounded, without dancing on mounds of sand, as it were. Thank you for many of you who came to my retreat on Sunday. It was a blast. We had such a good time. And one of the takeaways of the retreat, of course, on this particular eclipse is do a detoxification. I know I'm going to be doing a nice salt bath, right? Epsom salt bath. Do some sort of detox during the weekend, because this is a time to detoxify, especially emotions relative to fear, manipulation, grief. Try to do that on your to-do list with the eclipse. The last time we have Scorpio being activated, and that little ruler, one ruler at least, our Mars is coming up to Black Moon Lilith. So I was thinking, maybe this has something to do with my feeling of apprehension. It's not a top story, but it's up there. Something's fishy. The reporting that's coming in from the Kremlin says there was a drone incident. Drones were flying over the most protected skies in the world, right? These drones were exploding over the Kremlin. And they said, the Kremlin said it was aimed to assassinate Putin. But, you know, I believe the MSN, right? You know, it doesn't quite add up. Is it a fake? Is it a false flag? Ukraine said absolutely, we had nothing to do with it. Is it a fake attack or not? Either way, the fallout perhaps is that Putin is being extremely humiliated, according to the Telegraph. So I thought it'd be time for a Putin check. I think we've looked at his chart before, but here it is. Now, keeping in mind, he worked in the top secret service. So there are two charts floating around for Putin. But this one, you're looking at right now, shows him to have a Scorpio rising. Well, that kind of fits, right? And a Libra sun and a Gemini moon. And I mean, you could stare at it and we can analyze it, but I just want to pull some things out of for you tonight. And the thing that just caught my attention, oh my goodness, that this eclipse, this particular eclipse, is like giving him one big hug. One big hug. We'll get to that chart in a minute. Well, let's just take a look at his chart. Sorry, I'm ahead of myself. His sun is conjunct Psyche. He has the finger of God, moon in conjunct Chiron, moon in conjunct Vesta. He's got this wiggle room within him with that Gemini moon. So he goes this way, he goes that way, and he's often, most recently, probably very confused. We've gotten so many different reports internationally about him being deathly ill and so forth, right? Pluto is conjunct Black Moon Lilith in his chart, and Mercury's conjunct Neptune. Now, we know that Neptune can be our helper, but can also be the great deluder. That's conjunct his Mercury. We also know for sure, no matter what exactly his birth time is, it's been squared since 2020 by Pluto, right? The Pluto's been pounding his Mercury and his Neptune, and can, of course, create a lot of suspicion, a lot of paranoia, a lot of breakdown of his mentality. Wow, this is the eclipse on Putin's chart. The eclipse is hugging his first and second house with the lunar eclipse, with the moon on exactly on top of his rising sign. Remember, release, release, release. Where the moon is, we want to release. Well, what do you do when you're releasing a part of yourself? I find this a dangerous scenario. So internationally, we got these drone attacks in the Kremlin, and we get reports that he's not really pleased about that. He might be humiliated. We have the lunar eclipse on top of his north, not on top, the north node is on top of his partnership. So he's releasing his Vesta. Vesta is the spiritual aspect that we all have. So, why the heck should I even worry about myself? It's activating this yod. Takeaway on this yod, Juno is on his moon. We can only hope that somewhere in this person's life, there's a lover or wife, some female that's calming his rancor. Mars is also on top of his Uranus, unexpected action, unexpected anger, unexpected rage. I don't know. I would not be in the same room with that gentleman. Did I say gentleman? Well, of course. You don't want to poke a bear, and whatever's going on with him with this eclipse doesn't look really. That might be what we're picking up. Some of that angst internationally that's in the air. But my takeaway for you all is to detoxify and to let go the best of your ability. Things that you've been working through in the past year, since that January of 2022, fear, grief, anger, detoxify it. So this is where the full moon lunar eclipse will be falling and helping you release on your charts. If your Aries or Aries rising, 8th house, so that has to do with your personal power, with your need to manipulate, your need to be manipulated, and also tap into your own intuition and your sense of focus and strength. For Taurus, it's activating all things considering your partners, becoming a stronger partner to your significant other, and really appreciating and honoring the BFFs in your life. For Gemini, this eclipse is activating your work and the way that you're self-caring for yourself, especially with health, looking at new ways to activate disciplined health routines. For Cancer or Cancer rising, the lunar eclipse is activating your creativity and your fun and your romance, and you're detoxifying things that don't give you pleasure. It's okay to say no to something you don't want to do, Cancer. For Leo, it's activating your house of home, your ability to be with the family, letting go of old hurt, letting go of anything in your family that has caused grief for you. For Virgo, this is the detoxification of your thoughts, especially self-thoughts, judgment thoughts, and taking a new approach to time, to managing your time in a new productive way. For Libra or Libra rising, pay attention to your income stream, manage your money more professionally, manage your money with a great sense of self-worth and value, and just believe in yourself, Libra. That's what this is saying for you. For Scorpio, all eyes are on you. You want to detoxify yourself, mind, body, and spirit, and forgive yourself for not being perfect, Scorpio or Scorpio rising. You Sagittarius friends, it's all about you letting go of false beliefs, letting go of your need to be right, and kind of connecting with your God of your understanding, and without being too dogmatic or trying to convince someone of something, right? For Capricorn, it's about your friends, your groups, your associations, and it's a time to become a little bit more social. Again, detoxify from people who are not in your court, and just be aware of that, Capricorn. For Aquarius or Aquarius rising, be the leader that you're meant to be and really stand up for your natural ability to be truthful and humorous and leadership is very strong for you with this detoxification. And our Pisces friends, travel, expansion. Make a plan to expand your life in some way, Pisces. That's what that's about for you with this lunar eclipse. All right. I'm glad that made some sense to you. Hi, everybody. Nice to see you. All right. So, hi, Ron. I'm interested to go back and look at Josh Allen. Okay. Yes, absolutely. We're going to be doing a lot of Bill stuff. Absolutely, as we get closer and closer. Hi, Kelly. Thank you for sharing, Paula. Good morning from Australia, dear Linnell. Hello. Thank you for sharing, Christine. Again, many of you are watching on the CIA platform, Cosmic Intelligence Agency. I'm very honored and happy to share with you something I've been working on all last week, and that would be the Jupiter in Taurus webinar, which is coming up on the 17th. I'm sorry, on Thursday. Yeah, Thursday the 17th. I'll be having, it's open to everybody. You don't have to be a member of the CIA. You can go in and purchase this wonderful webinar. It's going to be very lengthy, and because we have something to look forward to. Jupiter and Taurus, there are a lot of trends and patterns. So consider that. But in any case, get yourself to the Cosmic Intelligence Agency website and get your Time Lords magazine. It is free for you. So please consider that. I also have my website listed on there because tomorrow night on a Zoom class, I'll be talking a lot more in detail about this lunar eclipse. Again, we're all clear on that. It's a detoxifying one. It's Scorpio, so that can churn up the underworld, can churn up things in our psyche, and it's time to let go and detoxify anything having to do with fear and so forth. Now, thank you for sharing. Many of you have been sharing for many months, and I put your names and I recycled the names. So the winner of our Lunar Lights Club membership for a month, for this month, is going to be Debbie Brophy. Hi, Debbie. Are you in the room? I thought I saw you. Debbie. Thank you for sharing, Debbie. I will be getting in contact with you and sending you out some videos and some personalized horoscopes for you, because that's what the Lunar Lights Club is. I take your birthday and your birth time, your birth city, and I calculate actual horoscopes that are based on your chart. It's a great way to learn astrology, truly. All right, let's do some spiritual work, friends, how that is done. You just sit back, relax. I close my eyes. I select two people, and I give you a little spiritual message. And keeping in mind, all of us are a little bit more intuitive with the countdown. So another thing I would suggest to us all, I did this at Beltane this past Sunday to Monday, is program yourself to receive a message from sometimes even a spirit of loved ones in your dream life, because it's a very potent time. All right. So, dear God, please allow me to serve. Please allow my words be filled with love and light, truth, inspiration, and healing for the highest and best. To align ourselves with the Holy Spirit. And I came to Dawn Elizabeth, and looks like she would like to get a message anyway. So, Dawn Elizabeth, I'm with you. And as I'm tuning in, just make sure you're still in the room. Okay. As I'm tuning into you, I'm getting the sweetness of homemade cookies. I'm not sure what type they are. My first impression was cutout that sometimes people make for Christmas, and that someone from Spirit is giving you, passing out a favorite recipe, and then they're going to chocolate chip chunk with walnuts. I don't know. I'm getting hungry just thinking about it. I believe this is a mother figure, if it's not your actual mom, Dawn Elizabeth. But it's the idea of taking time to savor the sweetness of life. And I don't know if you bake or if you have this mother figure who you baked with, but the idea of getting things simple and slowing things down and savoring, preparing meals is the message that this female is giving to you, my dear. So I don't know if that resonates with you. Please give me some feedback. Let me describe this person I'm getting. She had, she would wear her hair back I believe, in ponytails. And when she would wear her hair back, sometimes she would wear it in a little top knot or something like this. And she was very efficient, not just in the kitchen, but in the world as well, Dawn. And she comes in with a great deal of old-fashioned common sense, a very nurturing person. Um, and she wasn't just baking cookies in the kitchen, is what I'm saying. And she's saying that you just need a break to kind of take care of yourself because you haven't been doing that as much as you would like to, because you've been, the word comes to mind, hit and miss with your meals and so forth, and not even making some time to slow down and savor the simpler things of life. So I hope that resonates with you, Dawn. I leave that with many blessings. Okay. Okay. I'm coming to Rose Chase. My thumb came to you, dear Rose. So as I'm tuning into you, it's almost as if I want to stretch, like literally do exercise or stretch, like do yoga or do bending on my legs. And it's almost like I'm feeling some, I always hesitate to do anything with physical because I'm not a doctor, right? So you bear with me, friends. This is not medical advice, but I'm just feeling you want to stretch out your legs a little bit more, maybe walk a little bit more because they've been problematic. I'll leave it with that for you, Rose. And as we get into the next 2 months, either you're going to be starting some new movement, and it's not just walking, it feels like there's some form of exercise or movement, Tai Chi or something that you're wanting to do to garner extra strength and also flexibility. And sometimes when I get an image like that, I want to apply that in a psychological way, that you've been forced, I love this word, you've been forced to become more flexible in your life because of the added stresses in your life since September of last year. I don't know what's happening in September. I was getting that September to March, especially those 6 months. It was bang, 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 bang. Well, September to March, we had Mars in the sign of Gemini. So you might want to check where Gemini falls in your chart. But there was added stress. There was added to-do lists you were spitting out. And so you're kind of coming off that time when you had more on your plate, doing a lot of juggling, Rose. But things are calming down, and so you'll find some time to force yourself to be more flexible. The action of the past month forced yourself to be more flexible because things are outside of your control. And I'm looking ahead for you, and I'm circling the first week in August of this year. There could be some sort of big party or some sort of celebration that you'll be going to, and life is very, very different at that point. And you're exhaling. There's a lot of, we all have issues, right? We all have pressures, but I'm just talking the timeline for Rose, and I'm feeling that first week in August, maybe it's a vacation, I have no idea, but there's a sense that you're able to finally calm down, chill out, and feel a lot more in control. So I leave that with you, dear Rose. Oh, you wanted to take Tai Chi. Okay, great. And you have trouble. Not great that you have trouble with your right leg. I was just picking that up. You just see me as I'm sitting here. My right leg is stretching. Thank you for the feedback. Oh, John, I'm glad you're working in the garden. That's awesome. What do you grow? That's awesome. And thank you so much, Rose, for so much of your sharing. Hi, Dawn. I'm just going to say hello to everybody. Hi, Marty and Paula and Nikki, Jody. Hi, nice to see you, sweetie. Are there any gardeners in the room? Hi, Margaret. Nice to see you. Leslie, Jari, Angie, Amy, Diane. Big hugs to you all. Laura, Zoe, Anna. So remember, Kai Sumeri. So Linnell gave me a lot more details here. So the Uranus, okay, right, a 17-degree Capricorn. Yeah, that's a lot that you've been through, Linnell, as you know, with ascending Capricorn. But I think that this eclipse actually at 17, you might actually be feeling that you're releasing a lot of physical toxicity in your life, because the 14 degree, 15 degree of Scorpio is going to be sextiling your ascending degree. All right. Hi there, Ryan. Touche, me too. Number one rule. You know what? It's interesting, right? Because we're living in this time, and this happened. This is one of the gifts of the CV, of the crisis of the virus. One of the gifts of the CV, I think, wasn't just the deplatforming and the censoring and the weirdness with the mainstream media. I think it was the awareness that there were like 3 companies that own all the media. And so there was a rise of independent journalists all over the net. People who are just doing it because they believe in the truth, which I think is a good thing, right? So the motivation isn't for shareholders and manipulation. It's just very pure. I think all of us have this need to get to the truth, which is the Sagittarius symbol. And this eclipse is important because it's letting go of all of that residual scorpionic manipulation that's been going on since really January of 2020, when we have Pluto and Saturn kissing in the sky. So don't forget, friends, we have a wonderful articles and deep dives into astrology. If you go to the Cosmic Intelligence Agency website, sign up for Time Lords, and please sign up for my webinar. It's going to be on Jupiter in Taurus. It's going to be about finances and a lot about the feminine, females, because Jupiter in Taurus, you'll see, every 12 years often brings out a new feminine archetype. So we'll be looking forward to that in the next year. Many blessings. Thank you for being here. Thank you all. And we'll see you, God willing, next Wednesday. Bye-bye.